Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you another cast from the CasterMuse Narak Star League. This is a game between Ample, our aggressive Terran, one of my favorites, especially in this matchup, going up against RuiN, a Protoss player that I really feel like is a rising up right now. Definitely a strong Protoss, and I think that this is a pretty good match between the two. It's going to be on Eclipse here, and not completely sure who's favored. I favor maybe Ample slightly. I like his style. I think that Terrans that keep it pretty aggressive against Protoss peak really high on their Terran versus Protoss, and it takes the really top end guys to shut them down and make them look silly and foolish. So is RuiN going to be able to do that? We'll see. One thing to note, RuiN not sending out a probe. No proxy gate, no gas steal, no nothing. He's playing honorably here, which is not something that you see all that often on Eclipse. Definitely Eclipse is a map where we see a ton of cheese, a lot of aggression from Protoss players, but not going to be the case here. See Ample even checking, going down here immediately with the scout, going over to the side now. No gateways here either. And of course, there's two more locations. There's here. It looks like he already scouted his main base, and then there's up here at the third base. He's going to double scout it, make sure that there's absolutely nothing. See, is SCV's scouting actually tell you the story of what I'm talking about? This map, there's just so many aggressive openings from Protoss players, and he is being so careful to scout each and every location that he can, just skipping the furthest away one. Now, SCV going to go across the map, and what he's going to find is a very standard, very normal opener here from RuiN. We'll see if RuiN ends up making a Zealot. Yes, he does. Starts that right off the bat. So that'll be out there pretty quickly. And of course, he'll tech up 2 Dragoons from here as well. So like the Cybernetic score going to go down. And yeah, the SCV going to find, you know, just standard stuff going on for the most part. Of course, he's going to want to watch to see the Zealot when this comes out. Looks like it's about a 220 Zealot, so you got to be a little bit careful against that. He has an SCV down here and actually starts his command center. It is going to be a gasless expansion, but he needs to immediately get some Marines out here because the first Zealot is coming across the map. Now, I think Ample will be all right. He's going to start his bunker right away, but he's going to have to pull, I would say, 3 SCVs to help deal with this. He's just not going to have a lot of damage output to kill the Zealot off otherwise, right? His second Marine should be popping out as it gets here. And the Zealot can kind of run right by, so you definitely need some SCVs sitting on that ramp to kind of stop him from running into the main base. But who knows? Maybe RuiN just turns around when he sees that bunker. All right, second Marine pops in. And let's see it. Yep. Oh, nope. Okay. Not what I expected to see. He runs all the way up. He sees the command center, decides to turn around. He could have gotten up there, and that would have been annoying to deal with. But RuiN, once again, choosing the honorable path of turning the Zealot around and not trying to run by to do extra damage. Now, I mean, as soon as that Zealot turned around, honestly, I like this position a bit more for Ample. Look at this. He's getting so aggressive. What is he even doing here? That's insane. Why is he out with 2 Marines chasing a Zealot? Now the Zealot just gets like a free walk by, basically. Comes down the ramp. Beautiful move there. Realizing there was no sight on top of the ramp. Turns around. Gets the damage done. SCVs do get pulled to help deal with it, and it will get picked off, but I think this Zealot actually ended up doing pretty well for itself. Now the Dragoon gonna run up here. There's only 1 Marine in the bunker there, so he just runs by and, oh, does not get surrounded. So strong micro back from RuiN, who starts his own Nexus. And yeah, okay, so let's analyze where we're actually at after all that scuffling went down. We have the factory on the way. This command center already up 22 SCVs against 22 probes right now. But of course, we have double SCV production going down for Ample. And the Nexus not even halfway done. Robo coming, range coming. Honestly, I really like this position for Ample. This looks and feels very good for the Terran player. He's just got his expansion up so much quicker. You can see his worker count getting up above RuiN's. And how do you fight back as RuiN? Well, you're going to make him not mine with some of these SCVs. You know, repair costs a little bit of minerals, but really you're losing more from the SCVs not mining than from repairing the bunker. So that's going to be a little bit annoying for him for sure. He is going into Robo as well. I would really like to see him go directly into Reaver, honestly. Because, again, Ample is a pretty aggressive Terran player. You don't expect him to be going Armory right away here. And, of course, we can see, as the almighty observers, that he's going into 2 factories. So this is going to be a pressure play coming out of him. Already has 4 Marines in that bunker. You see him just adding on his depots. Going to want to make those non-stop from here. Second gas is coming up, so you can afford siege tanks as well as all the upgrades. And taking a look over at RuiN's base. Yeah, shuttle and robotics support base. So immediately going up into that Reaver tech, and it looks like he wants to take a quick third as well, which is doable. The Reaver is just such a nice counter against some of these pressure builds that occur that you should feel pretty safe overall. Like, I can't imagine Ample killing RuiN in this situation. The one thing we do need to point out, though, 38 SCVs against 31 probes right now. So Ample staying ahead massively as far as that worker count goes. Now, the Reaver, possibly with some harassment, can turn that around. All right, the first siege tank coming down. 2 more tanks on the way. He's only shown 3 goons. 4th goon coming up just now. But, you know, these numbers are definitely things Ample needs to take into consideration of what's occurring. Ooh, takes a big volley onto that tank, but that's okay. Pulls it back with the 4 Marines in the bunker. Can't really chase. And RuiN decides to go home with his goons. Now, the Reaver is going to be done in a second here. Second Zealot pops out just in time for that shuttle. And the probe definitely going to be making a Nexus next. Yep, there it goes. And now we have the Reaver with 2 Zealots in the shuttle, as well as the 5 Dragoons. We do have some bruising on these, but in the meantime, Ample going across the map. This is a very common path to go on. 1 SCV coming down to scout for incoming Dragoons or anything in the mid. And the shuttle kind of going up this way. This is a normal push path in this type of game to try to hit that 3rd base and not let it complete, to skip these high ground switches and all that as well. Now, the shuttle just flew right past, and Ample is going. This could turn into something crazy right now. What do we have? Some turrets being made, siege tanks being made, some mines being laid down. In the meantime, Ample going for the 3rd base. So he can kill the 3rd base, but what is going to happen here with the Reaver? That's the big question. Look at this, drawing a mine in. Oh, a huge mine in. Oh, another one. Oh my God. So many SCVs end up falling there. Now the Reaver going to town. That turret does not finish. Ample very aggressive over here, but now trapped up on the high ground with this. In the meantime, that Reaver starting to do some serious damage. He's already lost a lot of workers. He was up 7 workers, and now he's down more than that. A Reaver Scarab goes into the natural, down to just 30. He's down by 12 workers. What a swing we're seeing here. Oh my God, the amount of damage. He went down to 28 against 44. So that's 16 from being +7. That is a 23 worker swing. And what did he have to do? He canceled his Nexus. That's about it. Beautiful play here. Look at that. 16 kills on this Reaver, 17 kills on this Reaver, and finally it gets picked off. RuiN just with some amazing plays there. Now, the siege tanks want to get out. Unfortunately for them, there's a lot of goons here, so they're not going to end up making it, I think, right? Like, the goons pick off 2 of the tanks already. Ample trying to micro his heart out, throwing down some mines and everything. Ends up sieging here, but will end up losing the siege tank. Ooh, the target on the probe, really smart. Slows that base, definitely worthwhile. But now he's lost his push. His economy is behind. And let's take a look at the overall position. I mean, 32 SCVs, the game is not over. But without any doubt, RuiN has taken a lead. Speed now done for the shuttles. Multiple Reavers being made. A decent amount of Dragoons out on the map. 3rd Nexus being restarted. Obviously, he's had some good intel and still has this shuttle in the main base. So he has a very good idea of like what Ample has and if Ample can attack. Honestly, I don't think Ample has any sort of attack timing coming up anytime soon. He is going to throw down a couple more factories, which I think is completely fine to get into a more aggressive play here. We'll see what he can get done. Now, he's flying over the turrets. It's kind of funny. He saw there were a lot of turrets, so this is definitely a bit more wasteful. Okay, gets a decent hit there. Meantime, the Dragoons actually do hit the front to try to draw some of these siege tanks. The Reaver trying to get some more damage in. Actually getting a surprising amount of Scarabs off. I thought this would be dead already. And you can see, like, this Reaver definitely not being as valuable as I was kind of hoping. You know, just flying over everything. But it's kind of... Oh my god, a huge Scarab there at the end. Well, you know what? I guess at the end of the day, the Reaver was good enough. And now we're up on 5 factories here, just 35 workers against 54 of RuiN. If RuiN just macros heavily here, it's hard to imagine Ample being able to bust him. Ample might be forced into a longer game with more upgrades. Like, he's got almost 500 gas, so a starport probably should come down. He probably should get ready for taking a third base a little bit later on. Like, he's not... If he just continually pumps off of his 5 factories, it's not like he's going to die. Maybe with the Goliaths, he can protect his tanks from the shuttles and move in for a push. But they're speed shuttles already, so, like, they'll still get to unload on top of siege tanks. I'm not sure that he can get a good push off. So, yeah... I really like how RuiN has brought himself back into this game and taken this advantage now. Look at this, throwing down some cannons. The defensive cannon in the main base. Templar Archives coming, probably for Psystorm. I don't think we're going to see anything like Arbiters anytime soon. Another photon cannon at the natural. We have one up here. I would love to see another one here, though. Like, this is kind of the only stuff that can go wrong right now for RuiN is some heavy harassment. Of course, we can see the starport not even done yet, so nothing going to come anytime soon, but it looks like Ample getting ready to get into more upgrades. Has a decent-sized army that he's been making. RuiN, though, starting to jump ahead in that supply, moving across the map with some of these Dragoons. Vultures coming out. They can't really do anything here. Oh, Ample gets super aggro with those. That was not likely to work right there. I guess one mine ends up going off, taking some shields. But that's about it. Loses a few of those Vultures. You definitely do have to be careful with every unit right now as Ample, because I think the big fear is going to be getting busted. The way that he's going up in his upgrades, it definitely looks like he's going to go for the longer game. Like, you're not going to go for 2-1 and then attack before it's done, right? So that means you're also going to be getting a third base. And the big fear is RuiN just maxes out and then busts his whole army up. And if you lose too many Vultures on the map, that's definitely going to happen. What we want to see from Ample here is, yeah, running around is good. Do what you can. Oh my god, this is actually really nice. But yeah, make sure you're retaining Vultures. Don't be throwing them away for nothing. Now, this is not nothing, though. Killing off a decent amount of probes here. Oh, misses that last shot. Comes up, sees High Templar. This is a great scout as well. Oh, he gets a High Templar with it. This has been a really worthwhile Vulture harassment. Gonna get even another probe. And Ample takes that worker lead, but with the soon-to-be 4 Nexuses here for RuiN, definitely we have that advantage for our Protoss players still. Now, +2 attack for our mech units is on the way. Double Reaver outside. You have to slow push against this. He has enough siege tanks now. What I'd like to see from Ample is like non-stop Vulture production, because what's going to be very scary is probably RuiN is going to make a ton of Zealots from here. Yeah, look, just constant Zealots. He kind of has enough between the Reavers and like one group of Dragoons is probably enough in this type of situation. And you just kind of want to flood on top of the very siege tank heavy army. Now, let's see what he makes after these two. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of Vulture production. Third command center, still on the way. It's going to be very, very slow here for Ample since he did take so much damage so far. The Vulture's still kind of running RuiN around. They can't find too much more damage, though, I think. Yeah, those two get picked off. And RuiN getting into position. So, as he moves forward here, this is going to be hard. Let's see. Oh, no. Beautiful Reaver hits there. Ample sieging a little bit too close. All right, siege. getting rid of one of the Reavers, but he does lose 2-3 siege tanks, some Vultures there as well. And he's a little bit low in supply right now. You know, you can, if you place all your units just right, you will hold on against the 185 supply of RuiN, but you're really just squeaking by right now on holding on against incoming attacks. Now look, all of the army coming in. I think RuiN's gonna bust him. You know, 140 is right around where you start holding on against anything Protoss sends at you, but if you're too clumped, then we're gonna see things like these High Templars really do a lot of damage. All right, multiple speed shuttles here. Ooh, that one almost dies with the Reavers. Dives in, dropping off Zealots. Let's see what those Psy Storms look like. Let's see what those Psy Storms look like. Okay, finally gets one off. A second one off here as well. The Zealots moving forward, getting on top of a lot of these siege tanks, but the Zealots are almost cleared out. Oh, that mine just barely missing right there. And the Psy Storm's going down. He should have actually pushed with those goons. Oh, no, there were still tanks on the high ground. Never mind, because those are both one goon hit from death. But Ample holds just barely here. Gonna continue to try to push out. He knows he has to take his third base. Like, you're either taking your third right now or you're dead anyways, so you may as well continue to push. His money's starting to peak a little bit. Needs to keep that production going. Has his third command center ready. RuiN, in the meantime, he's still upgrading back at home, just railing out these Zealots, sending more and more units onto the battlefield, sending back his speed shuttles to load up on some of these High Templars and Zealots for that bombing. Pulling back those goons. He's just trying to slow Ample down while he reinforces his army. He doesn't actually have an army up here that can do much. Now notice Ample starting to throw down extra buildings, supply depots in front, turrets behind them, siege tank lines way across. He knows that there's a shuttle up here. He's got to get some turrets. He's got to have tanks on high ground as well, laying mines absolutely everywhere. You can see this bombing going on. This area, not buildable for turrets. So maybe should build a couple Goliaths there to kind of head that off. Ooh, the storm on the incoming SCVs. He just barely saves them. Beautiful micro there from Ample, keeping those SCVs barely alive. And the worker count is even, but we have another base going up for RuiN. Taking this side and this side makes it very difficult because you can't push both at once. This is going to be tough for Ample, and he needs to basically max out before he pushes anyways. So definitely a big advantage here for RuiN. RuiN coming up with the rest of his army. 172 supply against 114. It's I mean, anyone's idea who's going to end up winning here. Looks like those shuttles bombing in with the Zealots. The siege tanks need to be targeting these Dragoons. The Zealots getting on top of them. Some High Templars coming up, but walk into a mine. A beautiful mine right there. The tanks on high ground doing huge work against these goons. But is any of this enough for Ample? Continues to rally out his siege tanks and Goliaths. Picks off yet another shuttle, trying to push back these goons as best as he can. And it looks like I think he's on the verge of being broken here. He does have 6 facts pumping, which is pretty solid, but with more shuttles coming up, more Zealots running up as well. SCVs fighting against goons on the high ground. 2-1 upgrades on both sides of the battlefield. Not looking so hot for our Terran player. RuiN getting in on top of everything. Ample barely mining here. He has no harassment on the map as well, just trying to hold on. This is looking very good for our Protoss. RuiN starting out at a bit of a deficit here, but really crushing forward. Some of the mines clearing out pretty well, but that's it. GG. RuiN takes down Ample.